y'all, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a Jenga block Christmas basket using two different methods. The first method takes fewer blocks than the second, but the technique is basically the same. You're just turning your blocks a different way. I'll also show you how to decorate one of them, but not both of them, because this video is long enough and the techniques are basically the same. I'm just switching out different types of ornaments. So anyway, stay tuned and we'll show you how to make it. Alrighty, y'all, let us get started. So if you follow me on Facebook, you saw this project that I had posted the other day. It was a photo, and the lady who made it, her name was Helen. So Helen, if you're watching this, hi. And everyone's asking for a video. So I'm going to do my best to make a video. Number one question I'm going to get, how many Jenga blocks do you use? Well, this is the Dollar Tree tumbling tower game, okay? So these are smaller than regular Jenga blocks. I don't know exactly how many I'm going to use, and I don't know how many that you're going to have to use because I don't know how big you are going to make your project. This is a fruit basket, fruit bowl, whatever you want to call it, that I have out on my counter, and it came from Walmart. So this is what I'm going to use. If you have a mixing bowl or like a cookie platter, just something round that you can use to shape your project. So I like this because, as you can see, it has like the little lines here, and it's pretty much almost the same width as the blocks here. And what you're going to do is, with your bowl, you're just going to place the blocks around it just evenly as possible. So here are my blocks. Now when you're putting your blocks around your project, you have to remember that we're going to be putting blocks, stacking them on top of each other, okay? So take another block and just kind of put it between the two and see how well they stack up. Are you going to have enough room to glue these blocks on top of these? Now, instead of laying them down flat like this, you need to have them turned up on their side, like so, okay? So for this particular bowl here, I used 12. So I'm going to go ahead and get my blocks evenly spaced all the way around this basket. Okay, I'm going to try my very best to keep track of how many blocks I use. Now that we have these laid around the edge of your basket, you're going to take some glue. I recommend Gorilla brand wood glue. And let's get this open, and I'm just going to squirt some here on this piece of paper. Let's close that back up, and then I'm going to use this tiny little paintbrush to actually paint the glue on. Now remember, like I said, we're not laying them down flat like this. They need to be up on their side. So I'm just going to take this brush and I'm going to brush on some glue right on the edges here. Do it on both ends. And then you're going to glue them down staggered in between these two. See? In between, in between, in between. Like so. And then I'm just going to hold it in place just for a few seconds. Now that that block is in place, you're just going to do the same thing, just staggering them all the way around your basket or your bowl, your platter, whatever you're using, all the way around, right in between those other two, and try to get these spaced as evenly as possible in the center. Now let your glue set up just a little bit before you really start building up so that you don't bump them and knock them around everywhere, okay? So just be careful with this first couple rounds. Okay, so now that I've removed the bowl, this is what we have left, okay? Now you still need to be careful with it. Like I said, I let this sit here for about half an hour. You still need to be careful with it, all right? So we have one row, two rows. We're going to do one more row. So this is fairly easy as well. What we're going to start doing is staggering these. And what I'm going to do is, let's find our halfway point, okay? This is our halfway point. I have 12 total going around. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? This is our halfway point, and then I'm going to come down one, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just find your halfway mark, and then I'm going to come down one. If yours is bigger, you might want to come down two, because I don't want to start it halfway. I want it to bring it down so that the top part is bigger. So here's my halfway point. I want to come down and start here, gluing mine on, right there. So just point my pen right there at that one. So now let us start gluing these down as well. And that's basically all this is. Now, we're not going to be working both sides at the same time, okay? You're going to see what I'm doing here. We are going to work up one total side, build it up, wait till that's ready, and then we'll work on the other one. You'll see here in a second. Let's get this there, and then I'm going to glue on a few more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you stagger yours however you want to, but like I said, this is pretty much, I guess, like a third of our project is where I really started, you know, building it out. But you do yours however you want. Now down in the description box, I'm going to try my best, like I said, to keep very good count of these to see exactly how many I use. And I can tell you, like, how many blocks I used per round. So let's just glue these on here. And let that sit for a little bit. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to stagger it down one more time and glue them here, here, and here. So 1, 2, 3. We started off with 12, and then we went down to 5. Then we went to 4, and now we're doing 3. Put that there. I'm getting glue all over the place over here. Just put that in place and try to get it centered as best you can. And then after I do this 3, then of course we'll go down to 2. So now I have those 3 glued on. Oh, let's bring that back a little bit. It slid a little bit. I must have bumped it. Yeah, these are not completely dry, okay? So I'm just trying to be very careful as I'm putting them together. Now, once I get all of these put on, then I'm going to let this sit here probably for a good hour before we flip it over and go to the other side, okay? You just want to be very careful so that you don't knock it all apart. Now, this glue does dry fairly quickly, and it does have an excellent hold to it, but you still need to be careful. They say if you got cats, dogs, and feral children running around, you definitely want to keep them away from this while it's drying. All right, so now I have the 2. Oh, you're sliding. Stop sliding, friend. Let's see. Okay, and now I'm going to put this 1 right here. Like I said, now we're going to leave it alone, and we're going to let this sit here until it's completely dry. Okay, so let's put this right here, and that is that for this side. So like I said, leave it alone, let it dry. This is ready. Now this has been sitting here for well over an hour. So you can see this is what it looks like so far. Now you can space your blocks closer together than I did and space them a little bit further apart. I mean, you're not going to have, you know, a lot of room to space them further apart, but you do yours however you want to space them. This is just how I'm doing mine, okay? So this is what this side looks like, and this is a side, of course, that has been resting on the table the entire time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over and begin work on the other side. And you want to make sure that you get your line over here lined up perfectly with these blocks here. So make sure, you know, you're working on the correct side here. Now, I'm going to prop something up over here. I need to find something. I have a roll of ribbon over here. Let's see if this will work here. Just prop it up like so. Oh, that looks perfect. That looks perfect. All right. So we're going to do that. Okay. I have the remainder of my blocks here. We're going to get some more glue, and now we're just going to continue on like we were doing. So I'm going to find the very center. Okay. So this is the center block. Okay. And we're going to have 5 in this row. So I'm just going to come straight up and glue this block down. That'll be 1, and then we'll do 2, 3, you know, spread it out that way. So let me get my glue here. You can see what I'm talking about. See, this is our center block. Let's try to scoot this up so that y'all can see better. This is our center. Just going to come straight up and glue right there. Okay. To make sure that we get this in place. And then we're just going to glue our other 4 on. See, that was 1. And then I'm trying to do it so that my hand is not in the way and y'all can see. Be 2. Alrighty. And this is 3. And then we're going to do 4 and 5. So all 5 are on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's try to turn this. So now for our next row, we're going to do 4. And that's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, yours may or may not be different from mine, depending on how many blocks you use and how big your bowl or whatever you used was in the beginning. Every row, you're just going to decrease by 1 as you're building your way back out, okay? So let's put right there. And you don't want to stack up too many of your rounds here without letting your glue dry, because they're gonna slide. You can see that one right there is sliding. And if your other rows aren't really glued down yet, they're really going to start sliding and you're going to have a mess. So I'm just going to do these. I'm going to have to sit here and I'm going to have to keep an eye on it. But that was 3. Now for this round, we're doing 2. And then we'll do 1 right on top there. Okay. There. Then we're going to do this 1, and then that will be done. And then I'm going to let this sit here for quite a while. Give it another hour, a couple hours, what have you. Anyway, let me take down the camera and see if I can show you what it looks like from the side. Okay, friends, so this is method number 2. So this is probably going to take a lot more blocks. The previous one was just a way to do it with only 1 box, all right? So again, this bowl, basket, whatever, is 11 inches in diameter. And I'm going to start off just by spacing these blocks evenly all the way around. For my particular bowl, that's going to be 12, okay? So I'm just going to place my 12 blocks, and we're doing this exactly the same way that we did it the first time, only the blocks, instead of being up on their ends, they're now laying down this way, okay? So it's going to be flatter, it's going to be more compact. And our beginning rows, we're going to be using a few more blocks than we did previously. So let me just go ahead and lay all 12 blocks around. Okay, I have all 12 of my blocks laying around my bowl here. And just like we did in the previous video, I'm putting my glue on my piece of paper over here. Once again, I'm going in with the Gorilla Wood glue. So let's get all this over here. And once again, we're going to go around with our blocks, gluing them down on top of each other. But instead of being upright like this, now they're laying flat down like so. All right, so I got my itty bitty little paintbrush over here, and I'm just going to paint on some glue on both ends of this piece. And then we're going to just stack it right on top of here. Go gadget nails. Just let it lay there. And then we're going to glue them all the way around. Now, previously we did 3 rows, okay? This time we're going to do 5. Okay, so you're just going to glue them right here, right here, right here, right here, all the way around, staggering them just like we did before for 5 rounds. All right, so I have removed the bowl, and now just like in the previous portion of the video, now we're just going to continue layering on our blocks. Just be careful with this. I like to let each row dry for quite 15-20 minutes, just like I said previously. Just to make sure that, you don't accidentally bump something and knock it all cattywampus. But for this, we're going to be doing 5 rows. So 1, 2. We've already done 2. You have your base row and then the row on top of it. And now we're going around and doing another one. That will be number 3. And then you're going to do number 4 and number 5. So that's going to take me a second. So I'm going to work on that and I'll be back. So now I have all 5 rounds of my blocks put on. What is that? It's a piece of plastic or something. I don't know. I've got so much going on in here. I have 5 rows of 12 blocks. So now we're going to really start on our tapering rows just like we did in the previous video. In the previous video, I kind of started halfway and then I dropped down a little bit. You're going to see what I'm talking about here in a second. But I have 12 blocks around. So let's find our halfway point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our halfway point right here. So I think I want to come up a little bit. So we basically have a third of our project up here that we're not going to start tapering on, okay? So this is going to be the handle part, I guess you could say. So keep that in mind. Whichever section that you want to be the thinnest handle part, and then start there and then work your way down. So I think I want that to be like right there. So I'm going to start putting blocks here and then working my way around, if I'm making any sense. Just bear with me. Where'd my brush go? Here we go. Now let's see. I'm just putting more glue here. And let's see. Where did I say I wanted to start? Here. So let's go ahead and put this block here. And try to get it lined up. Is my head in the video? I'm sorry if it is. Okay. There. And let's put a little bit more glue here. Okay. Let's see, don't want to start here. No, let's go up here. And we'll start our tapering right there. Okay. So now I have 12 blocks and I want to start here. So that's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So out of that 12 blocks around, we're going to start tapering with 8. All right. So let's get 8 blocks glued on going around just like we did in the previous part of the video. Now that we have on this row, and there are 8 blocks in that row, now we're going to decrease again and we're going to glue on 7. So here's the beginning of this row, the beginning of the 8. And then once again, we're just going to glue on 7. And I know I'm not going like as in depth with this part of the video as I did in the previous one, but you already have the basic idea of what we're doing here. You're just decreasing. Once you determine how many of your blocks you want to start with your decreasing row, then you just decrease one number after that. So if your decreasing row begins like with 8 blocks, the next row will be 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, you know. You get the picture. Okay. So I'm going to continue gluing these down and I'll be back. So I'm already on box number 2 of our blocks. So you can definitely see that doing it this way is going to take a lot more blocks than the previous design we did. All right, so we glued on our 7 blocks, and now we're going to glue on 6, just like we did in the previous video. So I'm just going to carry on here, my wayward son, gluing on these rows. So I won't have to keep coming back and showing you every single row because I did that in the beginning part. All right, so this is what we have so far, just like in the previous video. You see how they are staggered and stacked. So I'll just show you that, and I'm going to hold it right there so you can pause it if need be, just to see how they're stacked up. All right, so I have flipped it over. Let's try to scoot it up so carefully because you don't want to bump it or slam it. I like to make sure the glue has really set up. So I have flipped it over, and now we're going to start working on the other side. Just like we did previously, we started off with the 8 blocks. Make sure that you have it centered. This is the center of the bottom so that you know exactly where to start and where to start working out, you know, so you don't start putting it on crooked. But we're going to be doing the exact same thing. Just gluing down 8 blocks to begin with, then tapering down to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So this is my center. I'm going to put a block on each side and then just work my way out. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Okay, so here is the bottom of this one. It is all done. And I'm just going to leave it alone and let the glue set up. All right, so this paint here has dried, and now I'm just getting some white acrylic paint here. Now for this one, I used 132 blocks. See, that is a major difference compared to the other one, and the diameter is the same. It's just the way that you place them is different. So I know this is hard to see, but what I'm going to do is with a paintbrush and this white acrylic paint, I'm just going to sort of brush on just a little bit of the paint just to give it a bit of a snowy feel, okay? Like so. You don't have to do this. Totally optional. Totally optional if you don't want to do that, but I'm going to do it just to make it, you know, like snowy looking. And it's going to take me a minute, okay? I'm only going to do it on the front side. I'm going to go worry about the inside there because we're going to cover that up here in a minute. But I'm just going to dab, 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 dab on some paint and be back. All right. I have all of my white paint on here. As you can see, I got some on the inside, then on the outside as well. And I'm trying to angle this so that y'all can see what I'm doing. I think this will be okay. But now what I'm going to use is this microfiber duster mop pad. This is from Dollar Tree. I think I'm just going to use one. So like I said, this one is not as big as the one that I had seen online that people were sending me. So I think this will be just fine. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Let's get this paper out of here. That's kind of aggravating me. Let's see, just put that right there. Yeah, that'll look fine. So let's get out our handy dandy hot glue gun here, and I'm just going to put some hot glue all over the back of this. Hurry up, Amber, before it cools down. I'm trying. All right. Let's get a hold of this so I don't put my hand in the glue, because that wouldn't be good. I've done that a time or two. I'm just going to glue that down and let that glue sit there for just a minute. Now I have these branches. I have two of them. I got them from Dollar Tree. It just says branch. Hey, come back. Come back. So now I have my wire cutters, and I'm going to try to cut it right about here, okay? Like that first little nubby right there. Try to cut it right there. Come on now. There we go. All right. Now let's fan this out. Come on. It's going to take me a second. Hang on. All right, so now I have both of them trimmed. And I think I want to try to glue the bases somewhat close together because these are fanned out pretty well here. So this is the center part right here. So I'm just going to go back from the center, and I'm going to put right about there. Oops, I need a new glue stick. I'm back. So I'm just going to put a massive blob of hot glue. You can see where I'm putting it right there. Here's my center block. I'm just going straight back with that. And then I'm going to take these two. Why is there a string? I'm just going to take these two. Oh, my balls are still falling. I'm just going to hold them in place until that glue sets up. All right, I believe the glue has set up mostly. And you see my little branches here? I kind of have them stuck through the little holes there. That's also helping to hold that up because those were kind of heavy once I got both of them glued down. But anyway, I have this little red bird that was in my stash. And I think I'm just going to glue him like right down in front of this. Yeah, I say about right there. Let's get his tail out of the way. I'm going to have to turn him a little bit. Let's glue this little red bird right there. And I also have these little miniature pine cones. These came from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to glue some here and there. Ah, it's on me. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to glue these little pine cones just here and there, you know, just to give it a little extra something, something. Just a few of these here, there, and everywhere. I hate working on really tall projects because it can be difficult to see. So I just have this kind of sitting down in my lap a little bit. But my greenery here, I have this part kind of, like I said, bent to where it can kind of fit along this. Now remember, we have to leave room for a bow. So I'm just going to take this. Yeah, that looks okay right there. And I'm just going to wrap this floral wire around just to hold it in place. And yes, I am going to glue it. So after I wrap this, then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on it. All right, y'all. So I know this is hard to see, but for the bow on top, this is my easy no tie bow. And this video has definitely been long enough. So I'm not going to do that bow in this video because I have a separate video where I show you how to make this bow. But anyway, this is our finished project. I can't even speak. You've seen it at the beginning, but I'm also going to have another photo for you coming up. Now, as for the other one, I did paint it white, and I'm pretty much going to do the same thing that I did here. I'm just going to use a few different decorations from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to get that one put together and take a photo for that one as well. I'm not going to walk you step by step through that one because, like I said, it's just the same thing. You're just gluing things down, and this video has been long enough. But anyway, if you would, please give this video a thumbs up, click subscribe. Check me out on other forms of social media, the links to all of which will be in the description box down below, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!